Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome into the stream. It's your boy Squall Rush, gamer, podcaster, and anime enjoyer. Today is Nerding Out podcast. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday, so if you guys are watching me instead, well, I greatly appreciate it. Me and the squad, the G&D squad, we're going over Frieran. I forgot the rest of the title, but Frieran is the anime. So that's the main attraction of today. All right, let's get into it. All right, I'm doing the intro video now. Dude, I always forget. I gotta make a new one. Those, and if they have ads in front of theirs, it's because they're the owner is getting like the money, because like there's like a Dan song remix I did from the AI, and that one has ads, and I'm not getting money from it. I'm like, I had to look it up. I'm like, why does my video have ads? And it's like, oh, because like they own the rights, so they're probably gonna get like money from that. All right, so we are back. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's Super Bowl Sunday. Hope everyone's having a great day. If you're watching me instead of the Super Bowl, thank you very much. Or watching us, I should say, instead of watching the Super Bowl. Thank you for that. Real ones. Huh? I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl right now, to be honest. But yeah, fuck the Seacocks. I don't even like them anyways. I hope they lose. Yeah, that's where my 40 Winers hat right now. Alright, guys. We're gonna get into our intros. Your name, a little short description about you, links, announcements, and the intro question is, who's your favorite Frieran character? Am I getting that right? Let's see. So I'm Squall Rush, gamer, podcaster, anime enjoyer. Hit the link tree for my other platforms. Hit that buy me a coffee count just in case there's no donate button from wherever you're watching from. I just did post a Pokemon TCG Pocket deck video today. It's my Gigalith deck, so it's my take on what can get you pretty good with Gigalith, and I think he's actually kind of decent, so try it out. I know people might have a tough time making a Gigalith deck, but not this guy. Pokemon TCG Pocket tournament coming up at the end of the month. Flip attackers only, non-EX. If your Pokemon evolves, it's fine if the earlier forms don't do flip attacks, as long as the final stage does flip attacks. Full Art Copycat and Rainbow Rare Green Ninja are going to be the two prizes. First place gets first pick in between those two. Second place gets the leftover. My favorite character for Frieran is... I don't really have too many characters to choose from. I'm probably gonna have to say the Corrupted Priest. It was kind of cool in a sense. I just liked the fact that he like believed in God and stuff, so that was pretty cool. And what else?
What was his name? Heisler? His mind?
Hythen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hythen.
Yeah, I just like that part and the fact that he drinks a lot. So it's kind of like, man, do I even believe this guy's word or what? You know, like it's like, is he even a good person to be a role model to? But yeah,
You can have a drink every once in a while and be a believer.
Yeah, that's true. But the way they talked about him did not seem like every once in a while. It seemed like he was like an addict or something like that, you know?
Maybe.
But he did have like some very good qualities about him. Like, hey, take care of this girl. You need an apprentice now. And he just seemed like a very wise person at the end of the day. So that's why I really liked him. All right, from my point of view, let's go with Sleepy, Seven Ninja, and then Brockstrap.
All right. I got deck lists on Arcadeck, Magic the Gathering. I can check those out. Want to see how to build some nice decks or just kind of weird builds. Besides that, I got a blog, sadman2016.wordpress.com. Yeah, I'm Sleepy Ninja 91 on Arcadeck, but I'm a sad man on my blog. And then favorite character, kind of picked mine. I was gonna go with. Oh, I'm bad with names though, but go with the girl, purple-haired girl, the apprentice.
Burn.
Yes. Burn. She's cool. I liked her. Like, you know, you felt like, oh, gotta protect her and stuff in that first introduction, and then she trains and becomes just so much more.
Right.
Okay. I am the Ninja 7. You can find me at Game Joe Mewe and Rumble. It should lead you right back to my Rumble channel. Check me out there. Just jump to the Rumble channel. Forget about the other ones. Anyway, I'm a ninja connoisseur, anime connoisseur. I've probably seen a lot of anime, but I wouldn't say that I've seen all anime. Okay, I don't watch Yaoi or Yuri, so don't ask me about that. Regardless, my favorite character has to be, I'm gonna have to go with Stark. I love the idea that wherever he goes, he is the light of the town. He leaves it in such a way that everyone loves him after it. Himmel's the other character that kind of does that as well, but we see more of Stark. We see more of a representation of what Himmel did in Stark. And so I love how much his effect on a town or a village can be.
I think I just got introduced to him in the 5th episode. He did have some cool looking ability when he was training.
Mm-hmm. Rockstrapper.
You'll probably like Stark a lot. Hey, Brockstrap55 on Rumble. I'm also anywhere else you might be able to find me, but I always try to say, hey, come over to Rumble from those platforms also. So, you know, just come over to Rumble, just kind of like Ninja here. I do have a reaction recorded for, it's called Jubal Z, which is like Jubilee, the arguing kind of like format, but it's Vegeta versus 20 Frieza Force soldiers. So it's kind of an interesting watch, and definitely don't ever use my reactions as a substitute, right? Go watch the original thing first and then come back to that. But I do have a reaction recorded, so I'm going to edit that, hopefully get it out sometime this week. And then just, my usual streams on the weekends. As far as my favorite character, I might have to go with Warble. I'll go ahead and post a photo of that guy for those who aren't familiar with him. But I think you had a pretty cool outtake on stuff. Doesn't want to go for he has the standard, right? He has the standard for what he wants to do and what he doesn't want to do, but is willing to do the things that he doesn't want to do if he had to. And also the bird that they're supposed to catch. That's not really a character, but man, that's by far the funniest thing I think I've seen on any anime, just by how absurd it is. Every single time it took off, I just was laughing my ass off. So there's a little orange bird. I think it's called a Chile, or something like that.
I think it was teal.
Yeah, it was hilarious. You need to get to that part, Squall. You'll get a kick out of it.
Call. Well, that is everybody. Make sure you guys hit them with some follows on their respected platforms. And let's get into the anime segment. Alright, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Alright, well, if you guys didn't know, it's the Frieran episode. Crap, what's the full one? Frieran the Long Explorers? The full name of the anime?
The Journey After the End.
Frieran at the end. Yeah.
The Journey After the End.
I think, right?
Discussion.
Beyond Journey's End.
Beyond
Journey, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Whoops.
Frieran.
I messed up.
Beyond the Journey?
Beyond Journey's End.
Beyond Journeys.
Beyond Journey of the End.
Just Journey's End.
Journey the End.
There's no the.
Journey End? Beyond Journey End?
Journeys.
Beyond Journeys.
Oh.
Beyond Journey's End.
Beyond. I was like, why does this sound weird?
Take 3.
Okay, that makes sense now. Beyond Journey's End. All right, that makes sense. All right. Ah, damn it. I forgot to
Frieran
put
is spelled
discussion
wrong.
at the end. Is it? How do you spell it? You're joking, right?
There's the E in place of the A.
Oh, you're right. All right,
That's
one
all
last
good.
time,
Doesn't matter.
chat. Discussion.
One last time.
All right. There we go. All right, in case you didn't know, we're going to be talking about Frieran Beyond Journey's End today. Very good anime, but I'm going to let someone else talk about it first. The person who went last time. Brockstrap, take it away. First thoughts. Anything you want to say about it?
First thoughts. All right, so it's kind of like every other kind of like almost isekai-ish. It's not really isekai in the sense you don't like, it's the world that they live in rather than one that you find yourself in. But it's kind of like the classic RPG party goes out and does things together kind of. The combat. There's not a lot of combat, but when there is, it's always good. It's kind of more of a personal like relationship building kind of thing. They have originally the heroes party, and then there's a time gap with this elf who's the main character, right? Frieran. So there's a time gap because she ages a lot more slowly than humans do, and even dwarves. And so she's found herself with a new party now. And it's just interesting to see what she learned from her last party and how she implements those concepts with her new one. So it's pretty interesting. I like it a lot. It's funny to see the situations they find themselves in, some of the monsters that they come across, some of the people that they come across that turn out to be monsters. Just really kind of slow moving, enjoyable slice of life kind of party exploration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad one to watch at all. I'd recommend.
Oh, okay. 7 Ninja.
I enjoyed it a good deal. As he was talking about it, it reminded me how like it's not completely the same, but like Delicious and Dungeon had like a sort of feel as Brock just talked about. Although a little bit more combat in Delicious and Dungeon, idea of just living their daily lives. We get to see what their daily lives look like in detail and exploring, I guess, magic as well. Because like we're not looking at big flashy spells all the time. I mean, the flower field thing was cool, but like realistically, sometimes it just scrubs a pan a little bit better or lifts an object up in the air. So we're seeing more world building on what magic is and what it's capable of, and we're not actually that focused on like especially at the part Brock said right now. Like, bro, when you see what's happening after the episodes you're on, bro, the magic gets crazy. But
I'm sure
it's like when combat magic happens, it's crazy. But like a lot of stuff is very toned down, very grounded. I'm gonna go with grounded, very grounded. And so I'm a big fan of I loved the world building, but I loved how their execution of actually explaining it. Everything feels natural. Like if I was walking there myself, I'd understand how this is possible, how these things are possible. It doesn't seem like anyone's really limited on the ability to do magic in any shape or form. So I'd say I enjoyed it.
Sleepy.
Hands down, one of my favorite animes. It's right up there, one of my favorites. And to elaborate more on the setup that Brock mentioned was, so he mentioned Isekai, but not really. So there's that whole storyline of you form a party to kill the Demon Lord. And the thing is, Frieran was part of that party, and that all already happened. They went on the adventure, the Demon Lord was slain, and now, as in the title, Beyond Journey's End, journey ended. Now it's after that. And you get to see, they already did the heroics and saved people, and then you see the aftermath. Frieran revisits all these places that they touched, that they helped out, that they saved, that they interacted with. And you see, how people remember them and stuff. Again, since she's an elf that has such a long lifespan, and time to her is so different. And then, so yeah, you really get to see like years and years after, and how she is able to continue seeing like, oh, this is what they remember about the party that slayed the Demon Lord. And I always get surprised how animes will always do a refreshing take. And it is really refreshing, this take. I'm like, well, what if we just saw what happened at the aftermath? What happened afterwards?
Right. Going back to how she actually experiences time a little bit differently, I always appreciate this little passive comment she says, oh, we'll just stay here for a few decades. I'm like, a few decades? What are you talking about?
Yeah. I've always kind of found it weird though. Like, whenever someone talks about like, well, if I age slower, I'm not going to experience time the same. Because I'm always like, yeah, but you would still know events. You'd still know,
right?
Especially if you meet people, you're going to still have these moments where you're like, I got to be here at certain days. So for her to not see the passing of age for Himmel seemed very odd to me, especially because she's been working with humans before. Even the dwarf Eisen knew that. But it's like, if Eisen can figure it out, why couldn't she? I guess that's a matter of perspective.
Right, and I'm sure she does it sometimes just to kind of antagonize Fern a little bit, just to get that kind of reaction from her. So
yeah,
it's funny because go ahead.
I also feel like they don't really address it in like other shows and animes that much. When they have a character who's immortal or lives a really long time, you're just like, oh yeah, they live a really long time, and then they're just, but they they totally behave the same as everybody else.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
like, would they really? I feel like this one addresses like, no, someone has super long lifespan. What 10 years is for one person would be like just a year for her, the elf,
Right.
Finran. Like, yeah, that's quite a big difference to them compared to everybody else.
And just my thing about this whole living a whole separate, like, time span or long lifespan is a day is still a day, right? They still sleep a normal amount of time as a regular human, I believe, right?
Frieran certainly does.
So, like, a day should still feel like a day. It's just, I feel like she has more of them, a lot more of them.
She always tries to sleep
I-
in too because she's so like unrestricted on how much she actually
Yeah.
has to do. So like I think that's why Fern's always trying to wake her up and frustrated. It's because she experiences time differently. Like she could sleep days and it wouldn't really matter, but Fern's like ready to get up and get going, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, my take on this is isekai is when a kid is basically, it's like a kid type anime and like everything's pretty much all good to go. Like the opposite of Attack on Titan, right? That's what an isekai is?
Isekai itself is fantasy, but reincarnations have taken the isekai name. Basically.
Right.
But really, isekai is fantasy.
Wake up in
and
another
so this
world
would be
as a
Yeah.
vending machine. Wake up in another world with my cell phone. Just any
You
of
gotta pick
those.
that up.
Okay. Yeah, because I
I
thought,
thought isekai was mostly wake up in another world, but you're like overpowered.
That's what it became. That's not what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought isekai was like more geared toward like the younger male audience. Like everything's good, everything like the main characters does not fail at all most of the time. Everything is pretty much just sunshines and roses basically. And then there's an adult one which is kind of like Berserk, which is everything's just dark type of feel, you know. I forget what that one's called though.
But doesn't
Okay.
isekai need
Grim Dark.
a reincarnation though for it to be isekai?
I think
Well, again,
so.
Well,
isekai in itself is fantasy. Isekai
Right,
in
so if it's
itself
all-
is fantasy. So
It all falls under that umbrella.
Oh, okay.
like D&D. So like it'd be like D&D normally, but like more recent years, I think what was the most popular or Kai besides Rising of a Shield Hero? Something reincarnated. Another what
That's
is
the
it?
slime?
Reincarnated as the slime. Yeah, the slime. I think like around
pretty
that
popular.
time, yeah, that's when isekai became that. But even Goblin Slayer is also isekai as well, and that one's purely
Yep.
D&D.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I didn't really get feeling about this being more geared toward like the younger audience. I felt like this was more kind of for the adults. It wasn't necessarily dark like Berserk, but it did have like elements where it felt a little darker. It hit the deeper parts of like relationships and life and stuff like that. Like they covered over death. Like everybody dies all the time because Frieran just lives a freakishly long time. Like she sees in the first episode an old man, bald, like, hey, am I still good looking? I know I'm still handsome. And then like a couple minutes later, it's his funeral. So it like covers death pretty quickly, and then you find out that this guy was the young man that she journeyed with through various different flashbacks throughout the next few episodes. And you see that this other guy in the next episode that she attended the funeral with, the corrupt priest, I forget his name already.
Hyther.
Yeah, Hyther. He's now getting old, and when he goes to visit her, when she goes to visit him, I should say, basically it seems like no time at all went by, but it's like a decade went by, or I forget how long. And it really puts into perspective to her, it's just like that, a snap of the fingers. because for us it's a time skip in the episode, but when he points it out, it's like, dang, you haven't visited me in so long. And then you can see on his face that he's actually physically getting older. He's hitting his deathbed, and it's like, dang, like really, this is what it feels like to live this long. It sucks. And I do like the perspective on that, on how the time goes by super fast for her. I mean, it feels normal for us as viewers and for her as the character because she lives forever. But in actuality, it's just like time's actually moving.
I do want to say, and I think my point that I had made earlier, now that I've put a little extra thought, I think this is what is happening. So Aizen, he's the dwarf. He lives a long time as well. Aizen he's always with somebody. Versus Frieran, she's isolated. It seems to me, and I see this a lot when it comes to like immortals in fantasy or in any form of media. Whenever there's an immortal, they're always isolated. I think in that isolation, they lose all track of time because they don't pay attention to events. They're just living their lives in some random location, and so they don't see events. They don't have any time of the seasons. None of that matters in theory because they don't have to. No one matters to them. So I believe, like I said before, it's a matter of perspective because again, Aizen, we know he had an apprentice, and odds are high because he knew human relationships better. Still was having friendships and stuff. Still traveling around with people. And so I get the impression that might be her bigger issue, is that she isolates.
Yeah, I think that in that area specifically, it's more of a coming to age story. Like, I feel like she's kind of more of like maybe a teenager, young adult who's still kind of figuring out the world and how to live. Because after the funeral, she realizes that she has some regrets, and the dwarf, he is more of an older, wiser, kind of has his shit figured out on how to live life, his personal philosophy, if you will. Frieran doesn't feel like she's got her own personal philosophy figured out yet. She seems like the rebellious teenager, like, I don't really want to be around people because they all just die instantly like that. The dwarf is like, no, that's not how to live. You need relationships in your life. And that's just kind of how I see it. Teenagers kind of have this backwards view on lives, on how to live life. Like, no, it's all about me. Screw everybody else. I could do whatever I want, no consequences, blah, 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 That's very teenage type of views on life. I'm not hating on any teenagers, just you'll grow out of that. But
we're hating.
I
Hating out here.
I mean, it's possible she won't grow out of that, but if you have good people around you, you probably would grow out of that. I did like the fact that she keeps having these flashbacks of like her old party back then, and it implements on why it matters in this current situation here. It made me really feel like she was actually like had deep romantic feelings for the night kid. I forgot his name. Himmel? Yeah. It made me feel like she actually liked him, like as like romantically, in the first few episodes that I've seen so far. There wasn't much fighting in this anime, and I'm actually completely fine with that because like the moments there were some fighting, it was actually greatly animated. Short battles, but it was good. I really liked the animation, the music, the meaning behind it, the dialogue before and after explaining everything. I think the first real fight we got was with that really high demon who was asleep and in stone for 80 years. And the build up to it, I actually had to go. What was that?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was probably the first real fight. Yeah.
And the build up to that was kind of slow, but it's like worth it because when she explains that human magic has evolved in that time, he was sealed away. Basically, and she said it in a short 80 years, like human technology has basically revamped itself to now deal with him, versus 80 years ago when he was first sealed, they didn't stand a chance. But now it's basically your basic defensive magic can now deal with this guy now, who used to be feared amongst many lands, you know. So it was really sick. And I actually had to go back and rewatch because he looked scary, but he was reduced to rubble in like 5 seconds. And when I went back and rewatched it, Frieran was telling Fern about all this stuff, like, yeah, he's really scary. He came up with the first piercing magic, like hella hyping this dude up. And then when it came up to it, she defends the first attack. Hey, what? Why is he so ass? You know, it was kind of cool. So I like the build up. I like all the flashbacks. It makes me really feel like she really cares for these guys, and it makes me want to care for these guys too. And they do a really good job. Like, I'm usually more into the fighting animes, Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan, but this one is kind of more up my alley when it comes to the more serious stuff. That's my first takes on it. Alright, 7 Ninja, you got any topics you would like to bring up about this show?
Let's see. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but I don't think I can avoid that.
No, go ahead, bro. I'll still watch it on my own, spoiled or not. I'll add that. I do and thoroughly enjoy this anime. I probably will continue this after like this podcast is done. Some of them I still need to keep watching over, catch up on. But yeah.
All right. What did you guys think of Fern and Stark's relationship?
Which one was Stark again? Oh yeah. Oh well.
Very good.
Yeah, that's the one where he just joined the party. Like, it just showed on my episode that I've ended on. He was like, Fern just watched him creating that huge fissure, and then the episode ends.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of funny. It's more friendly. It's hard to see that there's like any romantic feelings there at all. It feels like it's basically he just whines about getting yelled at for no reason, and she's like an old angry wife that just everything the quote unquote husband does is wrong type personality. So like being married myself and seeing what they do, I'm like, I you know, like it annoys me when my wife does that. Or okay, yeah, that's pretty wholesome at the moment. Like there's no official title for them saying like, yeah, we're a thing. And again, I'm not even sure that that's what they plan on doing. There's only really ever one kind of like instant that kind of remotely looked to it when they were dancing, when he took the place of that one aristocrat's son, and they had to do the dance. It seemed like there were, I mean, that would have been the closest thing as like for them noticing each other in that kind of way. But even then, I think it was just kind of a.
What about he gets her a gift?
Oh, when he spends the whole day searching the town for something to get. Wasn't that just more for like an apology of some sort, or did he?
A lot of it usually is. A lot of it.
I can't remember. I can't remember any time that he actually went out with the old two, like the motive outside of like trying to.
I don't know. He dedicated a lot of time to get that gift.
Right. It seems like he never
kind of hinted at guys being just happy about getting a gift and a like apology, kind of romantic.
I'm not saying that there isn't anything there. I'm just saying for the most part, like they're not just overtly saying like, hey, it feels like it's an organically building up to a thing versus just like the quick one and done, like, oh, of course they are. So like, let's just make it happen. Right. I do like that it's kind of like an organically like building relationship to where it seems almost real life like, versus the just, oh yeah, of course they're going to, so let's just get it done, and absolutely not build anything upon this kind of thing. You see other animes, like what about the Water Mage or something? Wasn't there one where like, was there something on there? I can't remember if there was like a relationship that just happened.
He had the elf chick that he was in a. I don't know if I want to call that a loving relationship. It was certainly friendly. Maybe one-sided. Right. You could argue that, but as far as like he's truly in love with her, I don't know if I'd go there yet.
Right. Or let me even go this way, like solo leveling, right? Like every single girl that he comes across almost like swoons for the guy, and it's just like I don't see that happen. I see like, okay,
yeah,
we're in this situation together. We've been through the same kind of troubles. We see each other day to day. This is
it's like
Inuyasha.
Yeah. It's like a slowly one block at a time kind of like eventually might lead into something kind of thing versus just, oh hey, what's up, and then time skip, right? And then all of a sudden, oh yeah. we're a thing now. I do enjoy seeing the building blocks be put together here.
Besides romance, I love their dynamic though, where Fern's kind of in charge. She wants to keep stuff moving along, and then he just like waits for commands and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. What did you guys think about? I guess I should say have my own piece about Fern and Stark. I've actually I kind of enjoyed seeing like she's kind of the mom of the group in a way. Like you said, she's keeping everything going. She's the accountant. She's the one keeping Frieran honest, because she says jokingly, "Oh, I'll stay a decade." No, she means that. She certainly means that. So it's like, I do love seeing, how Fern keeps the inner workings of their party. But I also see like a lot of the moments that we might consider a potential love interest type deal. I also see this as more bonding between each other, which as a group of people will do, especially when they're going through battles. Battle Brothers is certainly something I've heard in like whenever people from the army talk. It's just something that happens. And so I feel like if we were to talk about a truly love interest type situation, that's really between Himmel and Frieran, because that's kind of overt in a way. He's not outright hiding it, but he's also got such a strong personality that you could pass it off as just his personality as well. I say that he's a lot stronger in obviousness, but even still, that could just be Himmel. But I would say that with them, it feels more like bonding. Especially, I think Hyder said it herself. She doesn't really have a lot of experience with people her age. And so I don't think a person like Fern, really, I don't see it with Stark either. But I say that because I think Stark has a greater people skills than Fern does. I don't really see Fern falling in love with Stark like that. Now, it's building blocks, so it could happen eventually. But right now, I see this is my trusted member. I know he's got my back. I think that's been proven. It started with the Demon arc and it ended after season 1 going to season 2. Like we're seeing that trust form and into like a greater sort of vibration. So I love their relationship a good deal. I love the pace that they're going. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I wouldn't be upset if it didn't happen. I kind of do want to see it happen. I think they work well together if they did. But at the same time, if it didn't happen, it would make sense. They do a pretty good job. Oh, okay. So now, what do you guys think about Himmel's party?
Himmel's party, like the old one?
Yeah, the old one. What do you guys think of it? Based on what we know, Squall, you go first.
It feels like she had way more bonding moments with them than she realized. If I haven't watched the whole thing, it feels like she had a bunch of parties in the past before them where it's just kind of whatever, and then this is the first one that finally stuck into her memory brain. Like, this one is actually a group of people I bonded with. and I'm gonna see them a little later. Like to her, it's probably like I'm gonna go see them next week or something. And then 30 years goes by, and now they're all dying. It's like, oh crap, I did it again. Whoops. And then now that they're all dying, it's like, wait, crap, I actually like these people. And I really feel like for her it's just like next week, but it's really like 30 years later to everybody else, because it gives you that perspective again when we see the dwarf again in episode 4 or 5, and there's that whole thing about their discussion about the afterlife, and the priest is like saying, I don't think it matters either way whether there's an afterlife or not, but I prefer to believe in it because it's more comforting or just more convenient. And then it cuts to everybody like, you know what? I agree. Let's go ahead and pray with the priest. And then it shows the dwarf, and then all of a sudden it cuts to the current time, and now he's getting older. And you can hear footsteps, and you hear Frieran's voice. Hey, what's up? How you gonna come in here? 30 minutes didn't, or 30 years didn't go by. And it's like, oh crap, are you serious? 30 minutes went by since we last saw this fool in the first episode? Or 30 years went by? So, I did like their dynamics. It did leave a lasting impression, I feel like, on Frieran. And everyone's just salty, like, why don't you ever come visit more, you assholes? But you could tell, like, they all have had like some sort of deep bonding, whether she realizes it or admits it or not. All right,
Sleepy Ninja. Here, your turn.
Himmel's Party. What'd you think about it?
So, I do like it's not just, oh, we got the new characters, we're just getting to know them and like them. Like, no, all these flashbacks, which are well used, brilliantly paced, unlike Naruto. But yeah, you get to know them, you get to know how they were, and you know, like, oh, the corrupt, is he a cleric or just a priest?
Priest.
Yeah, the priest.
I think he's
like
both. I think he's considered both.
Okay, but yeah, just like, oh, he's corrupt and he drinks a lot, but it's like, well, there's more to him than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's been great getting to know them, and then just how the fact the hero of the party, how he, I mean, like, kind of was all of them, but how he kind of most impacted Frieran, and actually like it took like a little too late, but actually made her change, like for the first time in her long life. She's actually, something happened, and now it like she kind of has regret. She actually formed attachment, and it kind of changed. But she's starting to change how she views the world and connections to people. And she kind of, not really, but slightly, her change of time is starting to change a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I do find it funny that, you know, the whole big epic quest with the Demon Lord, like, that's over and done. We just get to see these snippets and bits along their way. And I don't know why, but I do enjoy the morbid thing that they do, because it kind of seems morbid in hindsight, where they keep that time lapse in the like corner, and the time lapse is how many days or years after the hero's death.
Yeah.
And each episode will keep stating it like that. It's just this reminder, like, oh yeah, a lot of time has passed, and this one member, he's already dead.
So
Yeah.
it seems he was the corrupt priest only really to the party.
Mm.
Because they knew him, and like
Right.
he's
So yeah,
totally different elsewhere.
that was his nickname only by the party. Is a corrupt priest. Yep.
Stayed on the Sprock strap. How'd you feel?
I liked it. It felt a little bit more well-rounded, right? They had the priest, they had the tank, they had the mage, they had the swordsman or the hero. So it seemed like they had a pretty well-rounded, cover each other's weaknesses kind of party. To where now they just have a warrior. They had a priest for a tiny bit, and then they have 2 mages. So it's a little bit more rounded than the current party, but I think the needs of the different parties are different. So like they don't necessarily currently need what they needed then. But yeah, I did enjoy that they had a dwarf, elf, human. It was cool that they had like the different main races for fantasy all together, and they had all the different classes, right, that needed to be together. Himmel's always cracking jokes, taking it easy, and I appreciate that we're still seeing flashbacks even so late into the show still. I think I'm on episode. What's up, buddy? Chirp for a little bit. I think it's funny that we're still seeing flashbacks even in episode, like, I think I'm in 21 or 22, just of like how important and how like every single instance that she's going through now, she can equate back to something she experienced with that team. So just the fact that she can do that for almost anything shows how like important that team was to her. So yeah, I'm glad that she had a lot of personal growth just from that. I think it was a 10-year quest that they went on, right?
Yeah. Most of that was side quest.
So yeah. So she's always joking about spending decades, right? She's always joking about spending decades at like just trivial places for whatever pleases her at the moment. But like, it really took only 1 decade to actually shape how she acts. So I thought that was kind of neat for somebody that lives, thousands of years to just have that one small segment of time really kind of just explode her development, right? I did like Heiter a lot. I was upset that we didn't learn a lot more about Eisen. He just was always kind of a quiet dude, but he played that trope, right? There's always that character in most fantasy. You always have the Heiter too, right? The drunkard that just kind of keeps everyone together and to some degree. And Himmel, Himmel just making all those jokes all the time. Kind of even taking. I feel like I was close to Himmel just because I like doing those kind of jokes. When she referenced Himmel like to explore all of the floors of a dungeon, or all of each floor individually in a dungeon, I was like, oh man, I kind of like doing that too on any of my dungeon crawlers. So I'd say I relate to him probably most of them. But yeah, it was like a nice little. I don't hate seeing the callbacks, you know what I'm saying? So I did like the first party a lot, and then the second party, it's kind of fun to see the development currently making its way. So yeah, I don't know. I like the old party quite a bit. I'm glad we still see more of them.
I'm a big fan of the old party as well, but I love it because of the fact that we're actually seeing through Frieran's eyes how she's changing, right? Like, you could just say she changed and she just acts differently after a certain amount of episodes, but we actually get to see her change and how she was before to how she is now. She sees herself now, and so I'm a big fan of that on that end. I'm also a fan of the fact that like it's not just Himmel, giving her this wisdom. It's also Heiter. It's also Eisen. We're seeing all of them, helping her see like what she's doing isn't really going to work for her in the long run. And it's been really cool to see that. I also just love seeing the like like you said, how things were back then versus what is going on now, and that feeling of seeing fond memories. I'm not exactly sure what it feels like, what it feels like, what it is, but it's like feeling a form of nostalgia in real time. And I really do enjoy seeing that on someone like Frieran. They've done a great job executing that. Like watching a grandparent tell about their old friends. But seeing them have the joys of remembering old friends was very heartwarming, I guess.
That reminds me of on the flashback when they were celebrating after the Demon Lord thing happened. I think Finran actually came out and said just like she was just gonna like leave the celebration, the party early.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? She said something along. I think it was for this one. She said something along the lines of, "Well, why do I feel like celebrating this 10 years is just like a blip to me?"
Yeah, less than 100th of my life.
And you, right in that moment, she like encapsulates just how different she views everything compared to the changes that happen afterwards. But yeah, the changes that party did to her.
These 10 years were just like a week to me. Like, it's not that big of a deal. What do you... Oh, sorry, 7 Ninja. Did you finish?
I'm good.
So, how do you guys feel about time lapses in anime? Like, because, like, not like time gaps like Dragon Ball, where Cell Saga to Buu Saga is 7 years, and then it's gone. Nothing explained in those 7 years. No flashbacks. Is nothing. We're just now here in the Buu Saga. I'm talking about like Inuyasha, Frieran type anime. You know, 50 years gone by in Inuyasha. We kind of learn a bunch of stuff that happens in the past prior to those 50 years through Inuyasha's flashbacks. Frieran, we're learning a bunch of stuff through various different flashbacks from when Himmel was still alive and young. How do you guys feel about like that type of stuff? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Hope we start with 7 Ninja first, since he was last.
All right. I mean, I think a time lapse, if we always do callbacks to it, can be good. If we just straight up do a time skip, though, like that's a problem. There are going to be moments where we have little time skips, like little a couple of days have passed or something like that. But I don't think that's a big deal. It jumps like 10 or 20 years. That's kind of an issue. Now they do it a little bit. It's different here because we're seeing things from Frieran's old perspective. That's a little bit different in the context of the question. But when it comes down to how they do time lapse and jumping back and forth from the past into the present, I'm actually a big fan of it. I think they've done a good execution of that because, again, it's seeing her become a different person over time. We're watching that happen through each episode.
Rocket stripper. I don't mind it so much. Sometimes it can be jarring. One I think that might have actually done it really bad was when I was watching Fairy Tail. They all got stuck on an island and frozen for quite some time, and then they came back, and it was kind of just really jarring the way they did it, because what happened was some of the characters were the same age as before the freezing of the time for them, and then when they came back and were unfrozen again, right? The other half of the guild were all aged. But then there's times like this too, to where it's more drastic, right? If it's like a 80, like if you're following one character that doesn't age, and then there's a time skip, and there's really nothing to anchor a certain moment down in the passing of time, kind of like how we had the first party kind of anchoring that point of her life, and now we have the new party kind of anchoring a second part of that life. If there's no anchoring at all, I don't mind, because you're just like, well, I like this character and I'm going to watch them. But if there's going to be time skips, then they're just dealing with different people all of the time anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So in those cases, I don't mind. But if there's like a one anchor point, and then it just kind of like there's no rhyme or reason to a time skip, or there's nothing to reference what's going on now versus what happened before. And they can't tie any kind of like growth from it, right? If you're just like, oh, well, it's the same as it was, this person is the same as they were before, or the situation is the same as it was before, or, you know, I don't see any need for the time skip in the first place. So I don't know. I guess it just depends. It can be done well, and it can be done kind of crappy. So as long as you do it well, I don't mind.
All right, sleep.
About you, Evan?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. It comes down to execution. If it's done right, then like there's no, because like what Frieran does is that it ties back into the story. It ties back into her character. It doesn't slow anything down. You, with each flashback and with each time lapse, the story keeps progressing. You learn things, it keeps progressing. It doesn't. Yeah, like if it's done right, like time lapse can keep like the good way to do mysteries sometimes. And then, you know, slow reveals through flashbacks and stuff. Yeah, as long as it's done right and it keeps the story progressing, it's not like floppy with like, oh, this kind of feels like filler, or it like with the fairy tale thing where it's just like, why? Like it needs a purpose, it needs to tie into the story, and it needs to progress the story.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think it definitely slowed down Frieran, but I think Frieran is just kind of a slow anime in general. But like when it does slow it down for these purposes, the payoff is just more worth it at the end usually. Like the whole flowers on top of the tower, when they got to the tower and we were talking about the squirrel. What's up, WCSE? Welcome to the stream. When they got to the tower, it's another flashback. And I kind of like zoned out during the flashback, and then at the end, Himmel's talking about, I need to take you back to my hometown to show you these moonflowers. And then at the end of the flashback, boom, the big beautiful blue moonflowers at the top of the tower thing. It's like, whoa, let me rewind back. Yo, that was kind of sick. What was this about? The whole flashback. So it does slow it down, but it's just worth it when it does it. Attack on Titan does this, in my opinion, very well as well. There's that whole time lapse between the cadets starting the the cadets training, and then all of a sudden they're finished, and it shows the top 10 students or top 10 cadets. And through various different episodes throughout the next couple seasons, they'll go back to their training during that time, that lapse, and it shows like why it's important in the scene and like why they actually really care about each other. And I really do like time lapses in when they tie it into stories like this, and why like it's just a long, awesome payout at the end of the day. Next topic I wanted to bring up: why or why not would you recommend this anime? Sleepy Ninja, you can go first.
I definitely recommend it. Just the fact that I'm always surprised when animes are able to be refreshing, and that's like one of the big reasons. Just it's so different than other shows, other animes, and so different. And just the characters are they're so amazing. You get attached to them, you like them, you enjoy them, you want to see what happens next. Yeah, just the journey and the characters. And then later episodes, after what you've seen, Squall, they got some more world building that's really interesting and different than the usual too. So yeah, I'd give this recommendation just because the characters are amazing, the direction is way different, and it's just so. And there's just so much like conversationally, like afterwards, there's so much you can talk about with this kind of show.
Coke,
Well,
what's
someone
up, bro?
just joined us. So tell the chat about yourself. What do you do, and what are you announcing? And I just want to take the moment to say, Fairy Tail sucks. All right, I hate it. Season 1, 2, and 3 was garbage, and I beat every bit of that. All right, Coke, go about it. Now,
I'm gonna be a little different this time. I'm just gonna say all these fine gentlemen here. Give them love, subscribe to them, like them, do all that jazz. Just take a moment sometimes. Give all of these guys all the love from me. That's my moment. Next time I'll get it.
Yeah, you do your intros, bro. Shout out your links, a little bit about yourself. I think the intro question was your favorite Frieran character.
yes, of season 1.
Season 1. I'm gonna have to say, I always mispronounce his name. The cleric guy who raised
High
Priest,
yeah, the priest, yeah.
the alcoholic priest,
The
the
priest.
corrupt priest.
Yeah, because he was always this kind of like jolly, the adventure. He was like
Yeah.
comedic relief.
Okay. All right, shout out your links.
Follow me on Rumble, of course. Okay. And I stream Terraria Madness memes.
Okay, so how did you don't give a rating, but how did you feel about the anime as a whole? And Squall, write down the question because that you had said earlier, because I think
Oh,
Sleepy's the one who started. Yeah, so let's make sure that's written down. But Coke, tell us, how did you feel about the anime overall without giving a rating?
A very nice change of
Went low.
overall rating, I would say. I'm gonna say a good solid 8, like unbreakable 8, because 10 is just like unheard of, and 9's like superb, and I don't know where season 2 is gonna go, but solid 8 because it follows just all those archetypes, all the characters, whether you play D&D or a friend group, whatever, you always know it. You got the serious guy, you got the kind of the dumbass in the group, and you got the hero, center of attention, and then you've got a smart person, got all the magic, all the tech. It just kind of fits the flow, and everyone kind of knows the archetype. Because of that, it kind of resonates. Solid 8.
And some topics we were talking about. First one Ninja brought up was, how did you feel about Fern and Stark's relationship?
Sweet and cute.
Then the second one
All right.
was, what did you feel about Himmel's party?
Comically unprepared, it seemed.
Yeah, I can see that. Totally see that. Now, the most recent question we have.
One more before that.
Pull it up.
What do you feel? How do you feel about time lapses in anime? Like, not like Dragon Ball time lapses where it's like Cell to Buu Saga, 7 years goes by and there's no flashbacks of anything that happened in that time. There's no explanation of anything that happened in that time. Just, we're now in the Buu Saga, Talking about more like Inuyasha, 50 years goes by, we get flashbacks, we know why Kikyo is important, we know why Kikyo's sister is important, and she's old now.
Hayate.
Yeah, Hayate. Like, the Attack on Titan, they had the cadet corps training, they just started, then a couple years later, they're all top 10 students, and throughout the next couple of seasons, we see flashbacks on why they all really love each other, why they're all important to Eren. stuff like that. And Frieran does a good job of doing this too, where it's just we're in the present time and we're just getting nonstop flashbacks of Himmel's party and why it's important today. So what do you feel about time lapses like that in animes?
I think it does really well with slice of life, kind of animes like that one kind of more leans towards. There's some animes that do it like the one that kind of leans on it a lot that's sometimes a little frustrating. I get it, but is Demon Slayer, where like you're in the middle of the fight and then it's like big moment, big flashback, and that's like an episode and a half, and then you get the final bit of the fight, which is like the phase 2 typically. It's like the format in Demon Slayer. I don't know if I like that. I would prefer like the flashback maybe in the beginning and then you get the whole fight. I don't know if I really like the break in the fight. I kind of get it for the animators because it's a lot, but there's a lot of animes that like there's just no break. Jujutsu is an example, like Thunderclap Part 2, like it's just the whole episode. It's just fight, just going. So, and the flashback was kind of before that, which was a good primer. But for slice of life, when you're in like a nice mellow mood, I think it's good pacing. But for big high intense, not so much. And it's definitely, the time skips are good for a lot better than filler, I would say. No one wants 50 episodes of filler.
Yeah, definitely. Like I gave the example when she was looking for the moonflowers in Himmel's hometown, and they reach that tower, and then there's a flashback with Himmel talking about bringing her back to his hometown to show her these flowers, these moonflowers. And then at the end of the flashback, it just shows like this beautiful scene of her above this tower with all the moonflowers, and then finally see it. I feel like these time lapses give a lot of room for flashbacks that you can just bring in and make a certain scene just that much more worth it. Like at first, when she got to the tower, like, and then there was this flashback, it's just like, man, not another flashback, whatever. And then as like the end of the flashback happens, I'm like, okay, I'm a little invested. Then boom, this beautiful scene of flowers. Okay, that was pretty worth it. I need to go back and rewatch that full flashback again now.
Yeah. It gives you an insight as to why it's that. Because otherwise, I mean, if there's no sentimental value, it's realistically just flowers. But there's a connection to it. But it's the same thing with us. If you're a kid, you smell something. You're an adult, you smell it again. You're like, that moment, grandma, cookies, or ice cream, or what have you, family, loved ones, friends, just instantly reacts. So it's almost like we're really experiencing her point of view, because you think about it, it wouldn't really come up until maybe she saw or smelled the flowers, right? It would, boom, there's the memory.
That's why she's here in the first place, to come see these flowers.
What's interesting too to kind of pull on that is, I believe that was episode 2 where Frieran got a little upset because she was wanting to look there, and for her, time is not really the same. So she's like, oh, we could sit here for 10 years and look, and for her, it's nothing. Everyone's like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't want to be here a year. We got to move.
Yeah, it's like a week for her.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the next topic we're on is why or why not would you recommend this anime?
We actually had something before that. Was the idea of like perspectives between Isaac versus Frieran on not human lives but time itself. So how do you feel about Aizen's perspective on time versus Frieran's perspective on time?
I'm gonna say, well, it's not quite the same as humans. Humans is a little shorter. I would say it's kind of like a midpoint. Like, yeah, I would say midpoint. His perspective is almost.
Aizen's the dwarf, right?
Yeah, Aizen's the dwarf.
Yeah.
So he lives a little bit longer too, also, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as long as elves.
Yeah, not as long.
Are we sure of that? Because I don't know when he was born. Like I don't think we know when he was born.
Well,
He definitely looks a lot older than Frieran, for sure.
She communicates it. She says that. Well, remember when she goes to pick up Stark, he goes, "I didn't think I'd see you again before I passed." So he's towards.
Well, there's a later
tail
one
end.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
a later one, too,
Toward the
isn't it?
tail end, because
Yeah.
he was kind of giving the impression I'm settling down. I drink people. He might be there another year.
If he's like the old man, probably even longer than that.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
Dwarves live in Frieran typically around 300 years. Some can be expected to live up to 400 years.
Oh, so he's got right another 200 years. Then.
He was fairly young when he was traveling with them, but then like after the years passed, like I think he says like he can't move like he used to, but I'm like, I mean, Eisen, you still move crazy anyway. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I think he was running on water at one point. Well, like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you can't move like that anymore? You know, I guess after a certain amount of time has passed for the dwarf, he's just like, you know what? I kind of don't want to go anywhere like that or do what I was doing. Less of he can't, but more like he just doesn't want to. Because we see that with the other dwarf guy later, which Brock, I think you saw him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to. But yeah, I think that's what's happening there. My perspective on this, just because I realize I may not have said everything you need to know. The reason I think that Frieran sees time the way she does is that she isolates. When we see her do like some time skip montage where we see her go around to different places, help some people or whatever. But what I got was it's because she doesn't have a consistent person like she does with the her original party or with Fern and Stark and them, is that she doesn't experience time the same because she's isolated. When she has no one to care for, then time means nothing. I think one of the greatest examples of why that change started happening comes from the fact that she had to watch Fern grow up. And so I think in some form of way, she was able to gain an understanding of what Eisen was saying about how they age faster than us and what it means to experience time like they do.
Well, yeah, and to be, I love her, but she is a little slow on pick up on little things because it took her a whole lifetime to realize, oh, someone likes me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only 5 episodes in, so I could be wrong. But it really feels like she's like, I'm just gonna go pick up a new hobby for a couple days or like a couple months, and the next thing she knows, like everyone she knows is dead. Like, oh crap, I did it again. That's kind of how I feel about her whole situation.
It kind of makes sense too, because if you've ever stayed at home alone or big long weekend, like on vacation or something, you can lose track of time. Just imagine that, and you're immortal. Like, I mean, 10 years could go by, you don't even realize that she has no point of reference. Like Ninja was saying, it's true. When she's got something she cares about and point of reference, time is now a little faster. She's kind of paying attention, kind of. But when no one's around, it goes.
Yeah, I definitely see that happening as well. All right, now, why or why not would you recommend this anime?
You went sleepy. Coke now, or you want to go with Brock?
Yeah, it's Coke now. The way I see it, it's like Sleepy, Coke, Brock, me, then Seven Ninja.
Okay. I would say I would recommend it because I would recommend it to maybe newer people. It's got a low bar of entry, good basic archetypes, slice of life. A lot of animes now, like core fan bases, especially if they've done it for 30 plus years, everyone knows they're making big animations, big booms, getting a lot of attention, but some people don't want that fast-paced stuff. They want some slower slice of life, more wholesome. There's a place for that, and I would recommend it for that, especially like older people, would you say. any reason I wouldn't recommend it? I wouldn't recommend it if you're thinking it's a typical like shonen, like where, you know, character gets.
That's the
OP.
term, shonen, with the kids, right? Kids and everything's honky dory, like the water magician.
Water magicians, it's the current form of isekai. Shonen would be like Naruto and yeah, I guess Dragon Ball too.
Fairy Tale.
Yeah,
which is-
like the main
Trash
character is
garbage,
just
yeah.
overpowered, always
Hunter x
wins.
Hunter is a shonen. Yeah.
My bad, my
Is it
bad.
One Piece technically a shonen?
Yes.
Bleach is.
Yeah, Bleach and One Piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was mistaken for isekai earlier. All right, go ahead, Coke. My bad.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. I would only not recommend this to people who wanted like pure action and no heartfelt. If they're, you know, like say a younger guy, early Dragon Ball, just Jim, I want badass, let's go fight. Nah. You get older, you get it out, go to the gym, go do that. There's plenty of Dragon Ball for that. But I wouldn't recommend it to those kind of people. I'd recommend it to more slow paced slice of life. Maybe young couples, guy trying to get his girl into some anime, something like that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, Brockstrap.
Strapu.
Yeah, I would probably recommend this for beginners too. I'm not saying that it's quite the Miyazaki level, but there's so many people that I would consider normies that would know about Spirited Away or the Howl's Moving Castle or any of those. I'm not gonna say it's that style. The art kind of comes close, kind of easygoing, just like those movies where when it gets intense, and then when it's not, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, this is enjoyable, right? So from a lot of people that typically don't watch anime but are aware of those kind of movies, this I think would be the one to recommend. Or even if they're aware of these things, but like, oh, don't watch Howl's, you can watch this, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely an introduction into some other crazy animes. Just for the fact that there's nothing too overtly like gorish about it, or there's really not quite a whole lot of like turn offs, right? Sometimes you can get into an anime, you're like, oh well, I don't want to watch that part of this because X, Y, or Z reason. I don't really see that in this a lot, so it's one that doesn't really, it has some intense moments, but like it's never really like doing anything that, only people that watch a lot of animes can probably tolerate. And just, the characters are pretty fun, they introduce enough people, enough kind of like diverse personality types to have anybody probably find one character that they actually really do like. So I don't know, a lot of good reasons to watch. Really no reasons not to, right?
All right. So, I would recommend this anime, and like Brock said, it's a beginner type anime. I never saw anything that made me think of it being fan service. I mean, fan service doesn't really bother me, but I've been seeing a lot of people don't like it, and I'm like, hey, it is what it is. That's their culture, whatever. And so, see that there's not a lot of fan service. There's not something like, if someone happens to walk behind me, they'll see a certain scene. Like, I haven't seen anything like that. So I'd say it's something I could trust. It's like Studio Ghibli, something I could trust to show you and feel that you might enjoy it because of how good of a quality it is. At the same time, if I drop you with something with that much heat, and then you watch something else, it's never going to compare. It's good enough on its own that higher in the category of quality anime, and so I would say this is I highly recommend. Like Coke said,
or you said, and the fan service. Come to think of it, is its rating like PG-13 or somewhere around there? Because
we do see blood, and we do see holes in people.
If I had I'd say, I'm not currently a dad, but like when I was 8, 10-ish. I could see, given I don't see anything in my kid that would personally bother me. Like some magic, you know, some blasting. Demons are bad. Be general, adventure, friends, camaraderie.
What about the demon arc though? Didn't that get kind of pretty? Unless I'm misremembering it, I thought that kind of got pretty dark and gruesome.
It's not explicit.
It's not overt.
Yeah, it's not
Like-
explicit at all.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Claymore and Berserk would be a whole different
Yeah,
story.
it's nowhere near Berserk or Jujutsu.
Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, Chainsaw
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, Chainsaw Man. Yeah, I would. Yeah, 17, 16 up.
Yeah.
Minimum, if not more.
I'd say like I feel like I could feel certain that I bring them into this and they would enjoy the show. A lot of good themes we see in other things in this, and so there's something for everybody. I'd say in the show to some degree. Even like I know Squall, you don't like what happens on Baki because of that guy's face getting ripped off. There's nothing there like that. There's nothing like that either. And so it's not trying to hide it, but it does it in a way where like it's not overt. It's not like his arm
it's
gets
more
cut
like
off and blood's flying everywhere and like there's a huge pool of blood. You know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, there hasn't, and I've seen pretty far ahead. I'm fully caught up all the way to like season 2. Contact. I know we're only like doing like season or episode 5 first season, somewhere in there. But like even further ahead, I can tell you, yeah, there's nothing really super. But it does put the moral question that everyone has, you know, is this is obviously bad, this is evil, like with the demons and stuff like that. You kind of encounter monsters. It's implied, more like a parent going, well, see, this is obviously bad. Look at this person over here, kind of like that. It's not. Listen, Ninja's right.
I got a question for you guys. How did you feel about the monsters when they appeared on the screen?
Hold on. I didn't say why not.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Yeah,
Squall,
obviously, you just got completely over the host.
let me jump over real quick. The bridge is this way.
Yeah, write that question down. We'll talk about that after my take. So why not would I recommend this? I'm kind of on the same boat as you guys. I wouldn't recommend it to like the new watchers, new anime watchers. Well, it depends on if you're more of a slow slice of life type of person. I probably would recommend this, especially if you're older and you're into that kind of stuff. But if you're younger and you just want to see explosions, fights, and all that stuff, I definitely would recommend something more along the lines of like Dragon Ball or The Water Magician. That's very more of a younger crowd type of feel.
Dragon Ball all the way.
Yeah, Dragon Ball or The Water Magician. That's definitely more for the younger crowds. If you want to see the good guys win, getting in a bunch of tough, cool fights, those two are more your style. I don't think it's boring at all. I kind of had this feeling of The Water Magician was a little boring, just not because of anything about it. I'm not saying The Water Magician was bad. It's just, it felt very predictable. The main character has all these OP powers. He gets in all these fights. Oh, he finally has a tough, challenging fight, but he still wins. It felt very like I've seen this before, if that makes sense. So it's kind of predictable. I did like Frieran for its unique perspective. Like I think Sleepy said earlier in the podcast, that there's characters introduced that live long periods of time, and whenever they are introduced, it's just, oh yeah, this person's 1,000 years old, 555 years old, and then that's it. There's nothing else, and they're just sitting there smiling. Yeah, I'm this old. That's pretty much it. We get no perspective, no explanation on how they view anything in life. This one doesn't really give you an explanation, but gives you a perspective. Like a couple episodes go by, we see the dwarf again. How are you gonna talk to me like it hasn't been 30 years? Damn, bro. That was only like a couple episodes for us. Like now I see how it feels to be her. It's just literally a couple weeks go by, and 30 years actually go by in the show for someone who lives this long. Let's see. I do recommend it to the more seasoned anime watchers because it's a nice change of pace. There's not that much fighting in this one. I'm more of a Dragon Ball Jujutsu Kaisen type of person. I like to see the fights. But I did enjoy this one. It's a nice change of pace. It makes the actual relationships feel very worth watching. It makes the actual fight scenes makes it feel very worth watching, waiting to see up until those fight scenes, because they're very well done in the animation department. Like whatever they did over there, they did a great job with those fight scenes. They did a great job with like all the non-fighting scenes, like the flashbacks, the tower scene was all very good. And then I do think it's more of a serious tone. It's not as serious as Berserk or Attack on Titan, but it does touch upon like the more serious parts of life. It talks about like death, afterlife, stuff like that. So a lot of animes don't really touch upon that. A death scene happens and then you get like the character's very sad reaction to it, and like they go through maybe like an episode and a half of them getting over a death and maybe learning from it, but they don't really talk about stuff like this. So this anime kind of does a good job of bringing up some of these deeper parts of life and topics and stuff like that. So
yeah, I completely agree. I'm with you. They reflect on the legacy left behind. You know,
the what?
The legacy that everything got left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
And
I
the
did
result of
like
all their
that.
actions, you know, when they go around, right, you know, they're doing side quests, towns, and you kind of see which ones are still around after a certain amount of time. You get that perspective, you see all the legacy. That certain towns where the statues are, you know, more disheveled, other towns taken care of. Kind of see how time is changing the memory. Time goes on.
But yeah, so that's pretty much why I would recommend it and which target audience I would recommend it to, for sure. But I mean, even for the younger crowd, if you're just more into that more serious stuff, the slower paced stuff, I think even that for you guys, it would actually be pretty good. Just, I know when I was a kid, or a teenager, this probably wouldn't be so much more up my alley. Now that I'm older, this is a nice change of pace and something that is up my alley.
The show feels more lived in. If it makes any sense. It feels more real. Like I could see my day transgressing. Transgressing. Is that the word I want to use? Progressing. Transpiring. I could see it transpiring like this. I could see myself living my life through this world, because we see so much, even in the world building, so much of the little details being expounded upon. So, yeah. And so I'm a big fan of this world.
So what was your topic, Seven Ninja? That's pretty much why I would recommend it.
All right. Rejumping over Squall. So when the monsters appear, how do you guys feel about them?
So the first monster we fought, it was that demon that was sealed away for 80 years. And the fight scene was pretty cool. It was short. I wish it was longer, but what they did with it was good, really good. And afterwards, they explained that his attack now is pretty much like old news. Back before he was sealed, it was the craziest thing ever. He created the first piercing magic, blah, blah, blah. But in a short 80 years, humanity has grown to build technology and find a counter for his magic now. And now it's just basic strong magic to the humans now. The next monster I did see in my 5 episodes was the solar dragon, and that was kind of like comedic relief a little bit, but they're still on a journey to slay this dragon. So it makes me feel like all the monsters we're gonna see in the show are pretty legendary or strong. Those are the only 2 monsters I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not I like them, I do like them. Especially the first fight that we were shown, because it was a slow build up to an awesome fight scene, and the fight scene when she explains that he's just small potatoes now made me actually go back and rewatch the full episode. And when I did rewatch it, it was a slow build up of her explaining why this guy is very important, why he's a menace to this village, why the village is so scared about the seal being broken or old. And then when it comes to the actual fight, it was very misleading. Like, Fern was able to defend him no problem, versus they were so scared of him 80 years ago that the best they could do was seal him for X amount of years. And then now he's just, I'm gonna just take you out. It was very cool to see, like, these monsters are cool, and this world is pretty cool. The way it's brought into this story. So now I haven't seen all of the Solar Dragon journey, but I'm definitely excited to see how that's gonna play out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brock.
Insomnia. It's sleepy, isn't it? You first.
What, the Solar Dragon?
I'm the one who's. No, about the question of the monsters. Like, it's sleepy first, and then Dogen and Brock.
Usually I
fine.
do like a reverse order, like goes one way, then goes back the other way.
Yeah, I got you. My bad.
I don't mind it so much. All the creatures that they come across are pretty interesting. I never get quite so uneasy when they come across monsters, just because I know Frieran has a vast wealth of knowledge of how to handle most of the things that they come across, to where I'm typically actually more concerned about when they come across enemy like people. So as far as like the monsters, like, they're cool, and I like seeing the designs and the concepts of certain monsters that they come across, especially the mimics, right?
Mhm.
But like, she usually has a way of handling them. Like, even when they had the goatee priest guy, right? And that flower monster was pretty interesting. And how they actually probably wouldn't have won that one without him, right?
In that moment,
But-
yeah, even she said that too.
Right, yeah. So even when you have a plan, like, you kind of need all the components of a plan to work too. Not saying that she wouldn't be able to come up with another one, but it was just convenient that they had him there. So yeah. Sometimes some of the monsters that they come across, even with her vast wealth of knowledge, right, still proves to be difficult. Or even with what they're going against right now, where I'm at, where there's, for more or less, almost a complete clone of the individual that you are, right, you have to fight. But again, with all the different magics that different people have, I never got so tensed up until Fern had to fight that one guy pretty early on. And again, with the mage classification testing, to where some of the mages are even fighting each other. Sometimes that kind of makes me concerned too. So I'm kind of less concerned about monsters, more or less, when they come across them, than I am with the people. I'm not sure that's really the answer that you might have been looking for, but
Yeah, it's fun.
No, it's an
Either way.
interesting perspective, though. It's a good point, though, is that, in animes we typically watch, it's the big bad monsters or something that we are used to fearing, and in this anime, like, it's a good perspective. You're right. When they're in town shopping, it's almost actually more dangerous if you think about it, than if they're out adventuring because Frieran's not around. It's like, yeah, what happens if what's her name went shopping, got mugged? Yeah, Fern. Yeah, like what would happen? Nothing. She could probably defend herself, but mages are squishy.
Yeah.
All right, Cope.
I think the monsters are. I think the way that the authors using the monsters is kind of unique. To kind of piggyback off what Rockjack was saying, because it's a unique perspective. I think whether it be the people or the monsters, it's like the writer is using them more as the lesson of the episode, more than just a typical monster. Because like the plant monster was a good example of, no matter how strong you are, things can just happen, and you should have teammates you can rely upon. That's a good example of that. That's the lesson, you could say, of that episode. And every episode kind of has a lesson in that regard. That's how they're using the monsters. Because, we're used to animes using them, like I said, is it either to fear, or this is a convenient tool to get what I want, or just fodder, or whatever. But they're actually using the moral bit of them as the lesson of the episode. And then occasionally they'll put some fodder, because that's just what it is. The core enemies tend to be the lesson. From Stark to Frieran, the flower, it goes on and on. There's always a little lesson with that monster. Shield Hero did that a little bit in the first season. Just a little bit, but wasn't the main focus.
All right, Sleepy.
Insomnia.
All right. I like how they even do like the monsters differently in this show compared to like other isekai, because usually they'll like go into a dungeon, like, oh, there's the weaker ones, we can train or whatever on those, build up, and then maybe unexpected encounter with an orc or something. It's like, oh no, it's bigger, and how are we gonna deal with that? And it just kind of like all these other animes kind of have this pattern routine of creatures and stuff they go through. But here, like with each one is like set up and special. I do like that. Like with that first demon, spoiler alert, there are more demons later on. But with that first demon, like that's just more world building and stuff. He was so powerful at the time that he was sealed away. And then we got to learn more about just magic and how the magic works after he got freed. And each one still feels like a threat. Like they were able to deal with that demon, sure, but still he felt like the talk up, the setup when he got released. And it's like, oh no, I think make sure Finran is there and around to deal with him and stuff. And then Fern was able to.
Yeah,
and then
that's a really good point. It's funny. It's cool how all of our perspectives are all a little different, but it's all kind of in the very similar vein. But yeah, I agree. Like when you talked about like the threat is still kind of there, it kind of piggybacks off of mine. It's a lesson. Like you have a lesson that's hard, it kind of lingers with you. You're right. Like it feels like the monster's gonna linger a little bit. I agree with that.
Before that, we don't know that he's out. His technique is outdated. Before it actually happened, and even then, he's still kind of a bit of a challenge. Like if they don't watch out what they're doing, he will get them. And then
he learned in that fight. He learned in that fight too, like it's super fast. So he's a genius. So go ahead, Sleepy.
Then moving on to the dragon, it's a different type of threat now. It's not magic. It's just big. It's physically, imposing. And then we set up the dragon as being a different type of big challenge. And then the same time, the dragon is also helping set up. This is part of his intro, is dealing with this dragon. And then we get to learn more about Stark and how he's kind of scary in his own right. Yeah. Just big dragon. And again, just kind of, it's tied to this village. And Stark, and it's tied to a village that Stark's been like helping out and stuff. And it just, each enemy is like tied to the characters, to the world. I'm not going to really go into really heavy spoilers or anything, but when they do the demons differently in this world. How their species is made up and stuff. And they do the clever like flashbacks to do this cool, to me, really cool reveal and stuff of how the demons work in this fantasy world. When you get that far.
Yeah,
and
I won't spoil it, but I agree. It makes them like a lot of the episodes in it morals, right? It's almost, you're right. They make them almost kind of scarier than even in some other animes because it is very, very deep.
And then last thing is that we learned that the most powerful monster are mimics.
Yeah.
Is this joke or something? I haven't come across the mimics yet.
I can't remember when the mimic was introduced.
When you see the mimic, you'll know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, you'll know. Just to be vague, mimics are. Think about this. Remember, if you watch, I was reincarnated as a slime. Everyone kind of for a while was like, slimes are nothing. And then later on, people started like, slimes are actually kind of dangerous. Things been kind of like that. People think, mimics is just a jest and a tongue, but no, there's some danger. There's some danger, all right, with mimics.
Well, okay. All right. What is one scene you guys really liked?
I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to do here, Skull, but you're not gonna get me. All right. What? So anyway, I want to talk about how the monsters of Ion. I knew what he was trying to do. Yeah, you aren't gonna get me, Skull.
What? Oh, I'm so lost. Wow. I don't get it.
You were trying to jump over me. You were trying to jump over me.
Oh shit! I'm so sorry. Bro.
Yeah, I smelled it. I smelled it coming. But
I thought you gave yours already. My bad, bro.
Sneak a ninja. Is that what you're saying?
You can't help sneak me, man. Anyway, my whole thing on the monsters was that I love the idea that you understood that if Frieran wasn't there, this would actually be some trouble. I think that they showed that pretty. It's kind of the Saitama effect. Where like you see it's always the side characters that are fighting him first, and then Saitama comes and saves the day. But you get to see just how grave the situation could be. Now Stark is super strong, able to cause huge fissures inside of a wall, undeniable. But you get to see that like this was just some random person here or party just roaming around. If they were to fight this, actually when I think it's Sin, go-to priest, if he was to fight something similar, like that would have been a tough battle. You could clearly tell that every single battle, this is just an overpowered party, because if this party wasn't here, that battle was over. That's a battle of attrition. That some of those battles, there's a high chance everyone's dying. And so I love whenever a monster's on the field that you can tell that if this wasn't this group, this would be a major problem. I think they do a good job on that, on showing both sides of that idea. All right, Squall, lay it on us. What is your question?
All right, what's one scene you guys really liked? One that kind of stood out to you guys? Could be serious, could be comic, could be whatever. Seven Ninja, since you went last, you'll go first.
Okay. I think that when it comes down to it, it has to be Ubel. A moment with Ubel where she's taking her second trial and she chops that one guy in half. And the reason it's important to me, as it explains why how their magic works. It's more of a matter of what you can see happening, what you can visualize happening. It is the greatest example of that. For no one truly believed they could penetrate this unmovable, undestroyable fortress of a cloak this guy had. No one believed they could do it, but she did. Off of something simple as, well, you could cut cloth. And she believed something that someone with the girl said she has a insane mind, but someone of a sane mind would never believe. But the idea of, I feel I should be able to do it, so therefore I can. Is truly what their magic is, and so that moment sticks out the most to me.
I like it.
Yeah, that was
I
a good
haven't
one.
seen that part yet. But looking forward to it. All right, Sleepy.
So the moment that I guess stuck out to me was the demon arc, and especially when they get into not Finran's nickname, but when they get into what demons are in this world, and the flashback related to that, because it's so well done, and it's so chilling how it's done. And sort of spoiler, Finran poses a question to Stark and Fern of why do demons speak the same language as humans? And when you get the answer to that, I never forget. I have never forgotten that moment and finding out why she posed that question, why that question was important, and how the demons are in this world.
Sounds interesting.
Oh, and then because the interesting part about it, the flashback, is that it's her old hero party dealing with a demon, like a demon child, I think, for the first time. Like, I think they might have fought demons, but they haven't dealt with like a demon child. So, and the fact that it wasn't just some like random flashbacks, like no, it was her party again, and their adventures. It's something they witnessed.
Okay. Coke?
I think the easy pick, every mimic scene, every goofy, like Frieran just being goofy, getting stuck, being her, is just, it tickles. It's a nice, lighthearted break from, as Sleepy pointed out, some pretty deep, moral, chilling events that can occur. And it really does reflect, those chilling events really reflect just how sinister something can be without gore, guts, gruesome darkness. Just simple, chilling fact, and it'll just whoop. And then later, next episode, she gets stuck in a chest, and you kind of forget about it, and you kind of go back on the adventure. But that shadow is still lingering back there. But it's nice to have that comedic relief. I always have liked it. That's why I like the priest and so on. You need it, otherwise your morale goes right in the toilet.
Definitely. All right, Brock, what's one scene that you really liked or really stood out to you?
They're the comedy ones. It's the anytime that the orange bird, the still is involved. You haven't got their squall, but imagine if you would, a little orange bird, anytime it gets frightened, just taking off at the speed of sound. It's an absurd.
It's kind of like Looney Tunes, right? With the Roadrunners, like the acting
Right,
equivalent.
kind of like that, yeah. It's absurd, and apparently it's as tough as a dragon too. But like, it's just a bird, travel, like flying away from people trying to catch it at the speed of sound. I don't know. The way that they did it, the animation, like again, the animation isn't like fantastic for most slice of life stuff, right? Like it's still good, but when you actually go into the fighting is when the animation turns up a notch. Well, they turned it up a notch for a bird. It was just kind of silly. So anytime I saw that thing take off, I was just laughing my ass off. It was so funny, dude.
So him taking off went way too hard for no reason.
Yeah, pretty
It was
much.
great.
I loved it.
Okay. I get
And
it.
it's not just the one bird. It's many birds of that same species.
All right. So Marcus, welcome in. So the scene that kind of stood out to me that I really liked was when they first encountered the solar dragon, and Frieran is telling Fern, "All right, shoot it," and then so she shoots it, and nothing happens, and then it wakes up, and then it cuts back to Fern and Frieran, and Fern's like, "Huh, it didn't do anything," and then you see Frieran hiding behind a tree, like, "Ah, crap, yeah, I really didn't." All right, run. But like, to me, when I first saw her hiding behind the tree before saying run, I was like, why is she hiding behind the tree like that? Like, usually she's the one that can handle everything, you know? And then she says, all right, let's run. Good luck. And it's like, so she can't handle something. Okay. That was pretty quick that they introduced something she just can't handle on her own. And then they go on this journey to find Stark. You know, like, I always had this thought in my mind that she's just like this overpowered, super strong magic user. And then the fact that the second enemy that they run into, monster and slash enemy, is too strong for her, even her, you know? So that part really stood out to me. It was comic relief, but it was also serious at the same time that she's not overpowered. So it was nice. I don't really have any more topics for this. 7 Ninja, you got something?
Dragons tend to be the always the pinnacle of magical defense and attack. So to see that happen, it kind of makes sense. In context. Do I have anything else to talk about? I guess we could talk about the food. I mean, it wasn't delicious in Dungeons, but I like the look of the food and stuff we got to see. We know we were in a medieval world, so I didn't expect anything truly fancy, but desserts and stuff looked very, you could kind of tell like that was a luxury. They had to actually go to a shop, a cafe, just to find these things. You could tell that these things were a luxury.
And
didn't really get to see that's not really. Yeah. Yeah.
She had to go to some gangster ass bar to go find some dessert.
Yeah.
I enjoy when she
I have a topic / question if the whole group wants it. I don't know how much time we have or what have you.
Yeah, go for it.
We got time.
My question that I pose to everyone is, and Squall, you haven't seen quite as much, but it won't spoil too much, but the question is, does anybody think that Frieran actually understands how strong she is?
I think she does. I actually do believe she knows how strong she is. I think that she's
playful or just too laid back, or is she just in her mind still kind of like a kid, where she doesn't really, like, she's wise and she does, wants to live, but I mean, as an elf, probably pretty young compared to most other elves.
Well, I mean,
only one we
yeah.
have a reference to is that girl with the golden hair. At least in season 1, she's the only one who have a reference to, but they seem pretty close to each other's age.
Yeah, that's true.
So I really don't know if I could read that on that alone. We also got that monk guy, but he was Stark kept calling him old man, but again, I really don't know how old that guy is.
Yeah, he's like, but like most elves, like they could be like 1,000 years old and we wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She know how powerful she is.
Like really, like she knows that she can keep herself safe, but does she understand that like she could destroy every town in the whole world type of power?
If you remember in the exam when think it's Dinkin. He's like literally, I don't know if I can handle that. Like, you know, he sees her close, and I think he's like, if she didn't know before, she had to know then, like how crazy she really can be. And so then we see Fern, her fight her clone. Fern knocks her arm off, and she's like, she stares at her and gives her that hard look, and then Fern gets knocked into the wall. She's like, I haven't had to use that ability in a long time. So I think she knows how powerful she really is. I think she even says in her own monologue, like, who better to know how crazy I can be? I'm paraphrasing. Who better to know how crazy I can be than my own self? And so, like, I think she knows, but we don't really see her use it all the time. In some ways, I think because she doesn't want to be seen as a monster. In other ways, if you remember, Flama says, "Don't leave a legacy. Don't try to leave a legacy. The legacy will form on its own." And so, I think she's playing into that idea.
Okay.
I know she flexes when she's going against that one demon.
Aura.
Yeah, the guillotine. She like going into that. She like knows. That was the whole thing. Going into that, she knew what she was capable of and what she could do. When it comes, I think she still. I don't know if it's really said or not. When it comes to her, Finran's mentor, if she's stronger than them or not, is the thing.
Like
but she kind of knows herself to like others, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
I think she might have passed Flama. She says at some point, like, you know, she's taught her everything. When she's like old, I believe she said she's taught her everything around that time. But to go as far as to say she's better than the golden-haired elf, that's a different story. We do see the mana circumference being pretty large against Aura, but we really don't even know if that's the full expansion. She seemed like she was still holding back even then. And that circumference looked maybe the same size, not bigger, compared to the golden hair. So it's a little toss up for me when it comes to those two.
Oh, and then Squall mentioned it earlier in that moment with the dragon, where she knew she was strong,
but not that.
She's strong magically, and this dragon wasn't really affected by magic. So he unbravely stood behind a tree and had Fern test to see, hey, how well does magic work against the dragon?
Completely right, Sleepy. She sat behind a tree because we all know trees are great at stopping dragons. They're completely dragon-proof.
Oh, because she doesn't have to be faster than the dragon. She just has to be faster than Fern, who's out in the open. But yeah, she does seem to know her own strength pretty well.
I mean, it's
Good argument.
It's a good question because, like, she is pretty young, and people who are young kind of don't know their limits and what they can do. Well, she's pretty young for an elf, I should say. And one of you guys said that.
Yeah.
I want to say she has like a decent amount of knowledge of where she stands because of the whole explanation with that first demon that was introduced. Yo, thank you for the lurk, Foda. Appreciate that. That first demon that was introduced, she had full knowledge of where he stood and how he stands in today's current magic standards, and had a full explanation of like how the humans can counter that now, and had her own magical spell that just one-shotted him, basically. Like, versus 80 years ago, why didn't she do that back then, you know? But now it's like, hey, like, turn yourself in or I'm gonna kill you right where you stand. Like, she had full confidence in her abilities. in that moment. So I feel like she has a decent understanding of how strong she is at this point. Rock.
Even if it's not, she doesn't know directly compared to herself. I'm sure she knows that she's probably stronger than most other mages. Just even on like those who actually do know who she is, say, or like are in awe of her, or even some might fear. Those, so like the aura girl that thought she could take her on. I don't know if like she thought she could take her on, or I can't quite remember that far back. In context, I watched Frieran probably about half a year ago for the first like maybe 15 episodes or so, and then I'm just coming back to it again now. So I can't quite remember the first part of it so well. I probably should have rewatched it. But just even like the new people. Let me go. I gotta look at the characters' names again. So even people like Dankin, right? Dankin feared her just like somebody referenced earlier. Loeen and Kane, so the two girls that she were like put with in that first trio, they were in awe basically. Anybody else, right? So like anybody that she comes across to some degree that knows of her, or anybody that's new that like sees what she's capable of and like react a certain way, she had Frieran has to know. Like there's plenty of context clues that just like show her that she's a that level above most. So I think it would be she hasn't outright come or no, like there's nothing saying outright that she does know, but of all those context clues, like the probability of her knowing is pretty high. It is what I think.
And then there was one part I did want to add. I forgot. The dwarf, when they go on that little journey to find that tree in that episode, and they talk about Frieran's mentor, the dwarf, well, Fern first says, "Oh, that legendary mage or magician," and the dwarf says, "Yeah, Frieran was her top student," and Frieran's right there, so they're really glazing her up a little bit. Like that doesn't really mean anything on her understanding of how strong she is, but she has to be a little bit aware of some strengths she has.
She's definitely very, very humble, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't like go to a
She
village.
says she has
like,
no
hey, I
fire.
used to be at the heroes party. Can I have some money? Or she doesn't do anything like that. Or
She's always
Right.
described as not having any fire. And so I think that plays a big factor. She doesn't really have the drive to really push herself out there when it comes to her legacy. It's more always let him all do that. And Kiana getting it as a consequence of being a part of his party.
the memories too,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because it'll be with her forever.
Yeah.
Sorry if I sounded quiet. I was away from my mic. Sorry.
Good.
So, well,
Now
what
it's
did
your
you think
time.
about it, Coke?
Short time.
What do you think about it?
I think that she has kind of like kind of mouse and men with it. I think she's wise, she's navigating, she doesn't want to hurt anything, she's being overly delicate because she knows she's somewhat strong. But I don't know if she knows how strong she would be if she went like, air quote, Super Saiyan or actually Rage. Because she's never really lost her cool to that degree. And I don't know if we'll ever see that. Maybe we do. I don't know. Maybe to that degree. But I think she, like everyone said, she's got a little bit because of everything. But I don't know. She gets so lost in her own thought and her own like wandering that she kind of forgets, and she's kind of doing stuff. And I think she happens to be timid enough that nothing's happened. But I think if she really got angry or something like that, it would probably surprise her. She would be almost afraid of herself.
Well, I do kind of like that. She's the more
Yeah.
well
I think it'll be a good lesson in the
level-headed.
future, right? Because maybe something will happen where she will become a little more afraid of herself. Maybe. I don't know. It's a possibility.
I feel like when she fought herself, that was the greatest example of it. I think that I don't know if we'll actually ever, because they already slay the Demon Lord. So, like, I don't know if she'll ever truly run into something like that. But we get to see what that looks like. She fights her clone, because, I mean, I don't know about you, but I mean, where was all this before? All that lightning stuff.
That's fair. Yeah, and I think afterwards, especially like Brock was saying with the and Sleepy with the certain fights and certain moments, like, yeah, I think there were moments, but maybe she understood more after, I would reckon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, before, I think maybe she was like, yeah, I'm strong, but yeah, everyone else is fine, and they got the fire. I'm just here for support. And when she fought herself and realized, oh wait, this can actually hurt everybody. Maybe this is a little bit dangerous. And she was cautious with it, and they planned, but I don't know. I feel like nobody really knows how strong or capable they are until they're really pushed. That's kind of like a life. And I feel like that, because again, if you think about the episodes, there's all these little lessons. You know, every character's getting little lessons. I think, you know, the priest got a lesson, Hemel got a lesson, she's getting a lesson. I think it'll pop up. I don't know how, but that's my guess.
Mm.
It doesn't pop up. I think it'll be fine because they'll give it just more like this direction that it's just different, you know.
Well, it definitely has been different. It's definitely been a different perspective. That's why I think something like that might come, because I don't know if an anime is really. It's touched on it a little bit, but not. At least I haven't seen Slice of Life touch on it.
Well, Seven Ninja, you had some.
Has she casted a fireball yet? Like an actual fireball? Has that happened yet?
No, no.
Thinking about it, I was like, I haven't seen that once. I think we saw lightning. We might be able to call that lightning. I think we saw lightning at the trial, but I don't think she's ever casted a fireball.
That's a really good point.
That's crazy. All right. Sleepy Ninja, do you have another topic? We are running low on time, but we have time for one more.
You like or hate the little reminder time text of after this has been like 37 days after the hero died, and besides liking or hating it, do you think does it need to be there? Is it needed? Does it add more to the show that they keep that constant track of time by saying this many such and such time after the hero's death? A little reminder for every episode.
Does anyone else want to go first? No one does. I can go first.
I'll start, I guess. So my impression of them telling us the years is they've already kind of explained it in the first episode, but like, you know, she's wasted a lot of time not enjoying the relationship she had with her friends. And so when we see that, it's always a reminder of why she's on the journey. So like, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you, there are some episodes I don't even see it because like I've done seen it a few times now. Like, you know, every once in a while I come back to the idea of, oh yeah, it's been that long. We're still talking about this dude who in some areas we've forgotten about him, and in other areas this dude's loved by millions. So I think it's a good thing that it brings us back to the first episode and why she's on the journey.
Yeah.
I would say.
Extrapolate.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm indifferent towards it. It's kind of a funny little thing. Just like a random ticker, kind of a more morbid one, but just kind of like, oh, okay, oh, that's interesting that it's been that long.
Whoa, hold up, Brock. Holy shit.
What happened? Me?
What the fuck?
Yada yada.
Hang on, give me 1 sec.
I wonder if the headphones died.
Mm.
We might not have been coming out on his audio device
Mm.
on the stream.
Give rare steak.
Wired for the win, baby.
What's up? What's up?
Yeah,
Echo,
I hear
echo.
you guys. My earbuds just glitched the fuck out all of a sudden. Like Brock was talking, and it was just like,
Well, you didn't need to hear him anyway, you know.
Right. That's not much different than how I normally talk.
I was freak. I thought it was something on his end, but like, nah.
No, we
it's
were
just
all
my
hearing the same
earbuds.
thing. That's how Brock sounds.
All right, my bad, Brock. Go ahead.
That's all good. Yeah, just like I said, I'm a little indifferent towards it. It's not something that I necessarily think needs to be there. Doesn't really add a whole lot of substance outside of maybe what Ninja was alluding to. Maybe it was just that amount of time that she has that anchor point of what she kind of had felt close to. But yeah, it's just there's when I do see it, it's kind of like a little giggle to myself, like, oh, it's been that long since Semmel, you know. So no, I mean, I wouldn't say I hate it or like it necessarily, but like I don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? And I think indifference is the perfect word there. And just referencing, I know this isn't part of the topic, but referencing the food earlier, like that big old plate of steak that you saw Frieran have at that restaurant 2 different times. Oh man, I could go for that.
I agree with that.
Anyways.
They're fat steaks too. They're not small. They're
Oh, dude, they
fat.
were. I'm like, how's that little girl gonna eat all of that steak? That's crazy.
You did it though.
Anime food
Yep.
always makes me hungry.
Yes, it does.
For
It's the
sure.
best food.
Yeah, like, especially in recent years,
me-
the anime food just looks fire now.
Yeah. They put some of those. Okay, some food animated in animes is more animated than one episode of One Piece. Let's be honest. Anyway, for the time, I think it's actually a great, lingering bit of foreshadowing. Is that the time is ticking down, and Frieran's gonna waste it because that's in her nature. And the greatest thing about it, and Ninja alluded to this with a different topic, is that little reminder is Hemmel's fire that's with her. The day he passed, he got the little fire. Every time you see that, every episode, it's reminding that fire.
All right, it's my turn. I think it
Might
is.
be.
I actually do like the reminders of the time, because in most animes, there is no time going by at all. You know, Dragon Ball, everything happens. The whole season happens in one day, basically. The tournament in the Buu saga till defeating Buu by the end of the day. Or maybe a couple days go by here or there, but
Let's just throw in a spirit bomb.
yeah, like almost no time goes by whatsoever in that whole season, the whole arc or whatever. In most animes, there's no time going by at all except time gaps. You know, Bleach, the whole 300 to 400 episodes, Ichigo is still 15 until the final season. It's like, oh, okay, now he's 17. But there's no time gap. There's no time move.
3,000.
What's up?
At one point, he was 3,000 mentally.
Oh,
Kind
shit.
of roughly.
Yeah, so
They're
there's
going,
no...
like, the way in.
There's no passage of time in most anime. They're the same age the whole time. So it's like actually kind of nice that this is different in that sense. Also, I did like the reminders because if you kind of binge watch it, like how I watched like 3 episodes actually, all at once, then 2 episodes later. It really does put in perspective Frieran's sense of time. Because for us, it's like one episode goes by, next episode, oh shit, now this guy's about to die. Like 20 years have gone by, 30 years have gone by, I guess, since the next episode. It's like, oh damn. Time is really moving and it's really short for her. Like how fast these people are dying, basically. So the reminders in here really work, because if you binge watch it, it really does feel like people are just dying off like that. And she like states that 10-year journey is less than 100th of her life, and you really feel that when you're watching the show, like how like fast these moments are for her. So in this sense, I really do like how they portrayed the reminders in the show.
I wanted to bring up, because it did just dawn on me. Wait, has everyone talked yet?
I don't think Sleepy gave his perspective on it.
Sleepy, go ahead and say what you gotta say. Go ahead and say what you gotta say.
It's just real quick, but yeah, I do like it. When we don't get the flashbacks that are kind of the reminder and stuff, that's the reminder of, oh yeah, the hero, the lost time, her lost time with him, because she just left after the journey was over. It didn't really stay in touch at all. I do like it, and it does feel needed. At the same time, it does feel kind of slightly morbid, because it does make me sad every time. It's like, oh yeah, he's dead.
All right. I did want to mention, because it did just dawn on me. So the chick with the golden hair, that elf, I believe that Frieran, there's a chance that Frieran would have become that, or at least some form of that. We see the difference of perspective, where the chick with the golden hair is like, you know, like like the humans live short lives anyway. Like I don't really need to care about anything like that. We see that idea of the passage of time. Brock, you're going to see more of her like after you get done with that battle.
Looks like her name is Serie.
Serie, okay. So Serie, right? We get to see, like, it looks like Frieran could have become like her. Maybe in a different way because of her not having a fire, as she describes. But I believe like there's a high chance Frieran would have become very much like her. In a lot of ways, I see that happening. But we see the contrast.
Honestly, if you notice, I think she's jealous from their master, Frieran's master. I think there's a little jealousy, or kind of like a.
You mean like with the fact that she's a battle mage and Frieran doesn't have any real passions?
That, and like I don't know, maybe she hates her, but she almost hates her. It feels like more than just the surface. There seems like something deep there. Obviously, she definitely detests, like whether it be the fact that she's not taking her position, like you're saying, or like you said, she's not a battle mage. There's something about it that maybe we'll learn it. Maybe we don't know it yet, but there's something about it. She really doesn't like her, and Frieran is very indifferent. Has nothing to do with her either. So there's definitely a big.
One thing she did say, I think Frieran said this, was that she's probably mad at me because I never became the mage she thought she saw me as. She saw the potential in me. So I think that's probably number one. But it comes with that idea of like she's completely rejecting what she could be. And I think that like that's probably the greater issue on her part.
Like a disappointed parent, you could say.
I feel like that's probably the best analogy to go with. It feels a little bit different from that. Like, I'll be honest, like I've had my own experience where like I saw someone with like the greatest personality ever for like streaming, and they were just like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." And I'm like, "Bro, you got it in the bag. What are you talking about? Like, you got it, man." Just never went through it, and it's something like that where it's just like it's not really. I want to say disgust, but I'm not really disgusted. Kind of, I don't know what the word is. Fuck the encyclopedia. What word am I trying to use?
Disappointed.
There hasn't been a deep dive on it.
Run down?
Figure it out later. But yeah, I think that's what's happening there.
All right. Well, we're pretty much at the end of the podcast now. So, is there anything else anyone wants to say about Frieran beyond Journey's End?
Boxtrap, you're coming up with the outro. Yeah.
Brock definitely needs a dad joke though in his outro.
Yeah, or is your dad joke?
I support this.
Oh, he left.
He's getting the book.
He's getting his dad joke book.
Oh man.
Right. Well,
but I don't think there's anything in particular. No.
All right. Well, very good anime for all the viewers out there watching or will watch in the future. You should definitely check it out, especially if you're a seasoned anime watcher. Definitely
magical spell.
I'm gonna keep watching it past this podcast, and I would say like a good solid 50-50, maybe more of the animes I haven't continued that we watched, but this is probably one I will continue, so I will say that. All right, outros. I am Squall Rush, gamer, podcaster, anime enjoyer. Hit the link tree, hit the buy me a coffee account, join the discords, all our discords, if you want to keep up with when we go live and hang out and joke around with some cool people. Make sure you hit our discords. Let's see, Pokemon TCG Pocket Tournament at the end of the month, Flip Attackers only, Copycat Full Art, and Rainbow Rare Grey Ninja EX up for prizes. No one's picked an anime for the next Nerding Out. I don't know whose turn it is to pick, so we'll discuss that off stream. But in next week for the podcast is going to be Great Nimbus Debates, the Dragon Ball Z Debates podcast, so be on the lookout for that. Besides that, no other new updates or announcements. Alright, Seven Ninja, take it away.
So your outro question is, because I realized I didn't think of it before. What is your favorite magical spell
that I've seen so far?
Yeah,
I only seen 3 so far. The one Frieran used to defeat the demon, the shield magic that Fern uses, and then the shot that Fern uses on the dragon that didn't work. So out of all those 3, the magical one
and the flower spell.
Crap, I don't remember that one. The ones I remember is the shield one. That one's pretty cool. There was some build up to that, some training with that, some weaknesses, and some lore behind it, and explanations of it using so much mana, and basically to get around using up so much mana, just use it basically like at the moment it strikes something and then take it away so it doesn't use so much mana basically. So that was pretty cool.
Okay, I think you said I was out there, so I'm gonna go for it. I am 7 Ninja 7. You can find me at MeWe, Game Jolt, and Rumble. It should lead you right back to my Rumble channel. Again, I'm a ninja connoisseur. Most ninja questions you ask me, I'll give you an answer regardless. For my question, I actually enjoyed the fact that Fern got in the end a cleaning spell. She seemed so proud of it, and when I thought about like why she loved it so much, I was like, well, yeah, she would care for something that's more for maintenance, since she's the maintenance person pretty much on everything. So yeah, I loved that for that moment and the joy that she had in getting that spell.
All right, Sleepy.
Oh, go ahead. Sleepy.
Again, I got deck listings on arcadeck.com under Sleepy Ninja 91 for Magic the Gathering. And then I have a blog, adman2016.wordpress.com. I blog every once in a while, just do random posts about what I don't like, what I like. And then, yeah, I think I'm remembering this right. Didn't Finrin find a spell just like made bubbles? Just found
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah, there's just a spell, and then like she found the scroll, and it's just like it made bubbles, and I don't know. I found that tickled me. It's just like, oh, look, she can make bubbles. That's all the spell does. She can just make bubbles. And it's like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
Alrighty, Coke.
You can find me at Rumble, best place, Koke. It's nice and simple. I'm Coke with an extra kick. As for favorite spell, I'm with Ninja. I really like that cleaning spell because I saw it, I giggled, and I thought to myself, I kind of would like that. I'd like to cast a spell and like it just magically scrubs all my PCs and lights and everything. Just clean it all up. That would be very convenient. I would love that. So yeah, that was definitely my favorite spell.
Alrighty, Brock Strapwood.
Rockstrap 55 on Rumble. You'll see me on other places like Kick, Twitch, YouTube. Not as important as Rumble. So if you want to see most of my stuff, that's where I'm at. Again, I've recorded an episode of a reaction to Jubal Z. It's like a Jubilee debate kind of forum, like format. Only it's Vegeta going against 20 Frieza Force soldiers. So it's interesting bringing something from real life and seeing somebody create like fake arguments on a Dragon Ball Z thing. It's just funny. So I have one of those. There's 2 more to go after this. Hopefully I'll get that uploaded at some point. And my favorite one that I actually saw, I thought it was cool that one guy later in the mage testing, he made flower petals into little like metal shards that he could use as ammo to like. I thought that was pretty cool. He could use it offensively and defensively. It kind of almost reminded me of like Gaara's sand from Naruto, but it was pretty neat. So I liked that a lot.
It's a lot more versatile.
Yes, it was very versatile. The dad joke of the day: why is it cheap to go throw a party at a haunted mansion?
Why is it what to go?
Let the ghosts bring all the booze.
Oh my god.
I don't have a long enough lifespan to get over that joke.
That's right. Alright, well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank the panel for being here. Make sure y'all hit them with some follows, join our Discords, check out their platforms. And we will see you guys in the next one, peeps. Deuces.
Later. Raid Shadow Legend.
Yep.